Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me this evening with Miguda as we still wait for Senate proceeding on the impeachment motion of the Deputy President. Miguda Barigani.
Niko salama kakangu, hali yako vipi?
Mi niko salama. We've been watching the proceeding of the Deputy President, and a few moments ago, like an hour ago, he fell sick. We are told through his counsels that he went to the hospital, and it's very sad at this particular moment that he would some such like would happen. But maisha huwezi sema, unaweza kuwa mgonjwa anytime. So how does that one affect the timeline of the Senate? Because this is a constitutional process that has a timeline.
Yeah, this is a constitutional process and it has a timeline,
Hmm.
and it was scheduled, I think, it must be done within 10 days.
Yeah,
So I do not know, I've not counted yet how many days we have so far exhausted the case,
yeah.
but I think it should be end by today before midnight for it to not to, it is a time bound, so it should not go beyond 10 days.
Oh,
Because when it goes also beyond 10 days, it will be inconsistent with the provisions of the law. And significantly, the House of the Laws and also the House of the Rules,
yes.
uh, it is something I can say, Brother Benson, that it is something unprecedented in this country.
Yeah.
It's something we have never seen before. So just like us, yeah, anybody, you have even heard from senior counsel, even the Speaker of the House, everybody is amazed. People are surprised because this is the first time we are experiencing the impeachment of a deputy president. At the same time, there are some, I can say, there are some creations in the process of uh, litigation. There are some things that are developed. There are some developments, new developments in the instance. So, being that is something that we haven't experienced before, something that it has not been there in the precedent, and also it's something that there are so many things that is coming. It's coming a lot of new things, and we are learning from it. And also,
Mhm.
the speaker suspended the house up to 5. I think we'll resume by 5 to see how the ruling is made.
Oh, there's something that sometimes is quite much difficult. Maybe it will take um, um, patience and wisdom to for the speaker now, because if you take an L, you know, how will he be in the good state of mind? Because like when such like processes are taking place, and because like everything, he's the co-accused, right? And he might be brought uh, to the house to continue with the cross examination, which he was supposed to do. But because he fell ill, will that one interfere with the state of mind and his life? And how will the speaker make ruling of such?
Yeah, we are experiencing a very tactical moment in the country.
Yeah.
It's good that we are learning from it. So we cannot talk to a point of perfection that we understand what's going on.
Yes.
I can just say two things. Number one,
Hmm.
uh, fair hearing, because
Yes.
you know it was supposed to be heard in the defense, and it was supposed to be cross-examined and re-examined in the house. So there's no way you can proceed with the litigation without hearing from Rigathi Gachagua. So I
True.
believe that that's why the speaker suspended the hearing up to 5 p.m. because that's creates for them a ground they can go and litigate in court in the future that we were never given a fair hearing. Even
Yeah.
our client was never heard and he was impeached. Why do you impeach someone in his absentia? Such things, you see. And also, there's another thing that I can view that maybe what if he's forced to come to the house? He can argue that he was forced to make confession under duress. He was put under coercion
Yeah.
for him to make some statement. So there are two things here. Number one, right to fair hearing. Number two, under duress. Was there any pressure given to him in the state of his mind or in the state of his illness? Because there's no one, you cannot ascertain that he is not sick. It is a doctor to confirm for us that he is sick because no one can say that you are not sick. Even me, I can't say that he is not sick because I've not diagnosed him. So
Yes.
we must get the report from the doctor. Finally, Mr. Speaker now does not only need a Solomonic wisdom, but also you need to consult widely. You need a wider consultation whereby you need to consult stakeholders, you need to consult even the president himself to reach out to the president and reach out to the leadership of the country, the religious leaders to that extent. Even far, you can go to even to the our masters, people like United Kingdom. You can seek some guidance from the
Mhm.
previous cases that have happened. The candidates have done impeachment. You can go to West Africa. So in this duration of 2 hours, I think it's enough for Speaker to come up with the ruling that will going to favor both the petitioner and the defense. That people can view it in the public perspective that indeed it was a fair ruling.
Okay, thank you so much. Good. And maybe if you can talk about, because like now we will need a documentation from the doctor or from the specified to say that okay, now we need to give them explanation why what the DP is suffering from, right? So that that one can also bring in fair hearing.
Yeah, you can hear me. Yeah, I think we must get documentation or a report from a doctor for us to prove that indeed the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is ill, and that also can be used as a tool in his defense that during the hearing. But also we kind of say that he's not ill because Deputy President has been present from the word go. He was
Yeah.
present in the National Assembly. He has been attending all these sessions. Yesterday he was in the Senate proceedings. So he has been there and very active. So maybe this afternoon he has fallen sick because he has fallen ill because of he has been having a very long nights because he has been preparing himself for the cases. And the person of his stature maybe sometimes is not used to those things. Maybe those are lawyers used to those things, but with him, he's used to being managed as a deputy president. So maybe he might got ill, he might be having some fatigue. So let us just wait and hear from the doctor report by around 5 p.m. Then from there, I think Mr. Speaker now has a very hard task to persuade the Senate and the people of Kenya the next move.
Okay, because you know.
But another thing we have to admit, Brother Benson,
Mhm.
this is a developing thing. It's now developing in our present, something that is developing. It has never been seen in the country before.
And yes, and you know, I was just speaking to you know, like these groups that where we have, and you know of how Kenya cannot go without making comics. You know, Kenya is a comic society. You know, everything that happens, Kenya has to create some scenarios whereby you're being entertained in a way. And somebody was telling me, okay, remember even like when somebody has like a serious court cases, somebody may say that okay, you were supposed to appear in court today, and you just send your lawyers or your council members that okay, I'm not feeling well and I'm in the hospital. You know, that people are also claiming that. Then another thing also, some were arguing, you know, remember how the the mover of the motion or the complainant actually how yesterday he was treated to cross examination, you know. And you know, when you look at the side of the parliament where we have senior counsel James Orengo, you have Uchendia Molo, and you know that, you know, it can also send you in a panic mode. What can we think also about along that line, because it's heavily invested on, especially in terms of the parliament side. This, yeah,
I'll just restrict myself. I won't go to think along that line. Of
yeah,
course, each and every person has opinion to think. We can't restrain anybody.
yeah.
People, Kenyans have that opinion. You have a right to your own opinion. You can think. No one can control your thinking. No one can control your opinion. So
Mhm.
either way, I don't think that's matter because even if he has people like James Orengo, even DP as senior counsel like Paul Mwite, so there's no panicking mode.
Mhm.
Because even by the time Mutise was being cross-examined, you see
Mhm.
the way Mutise was panicking, he was sweating, was confused as a witness one for the
Yeah,
petitioner. So
yeah.
it is normal because he was very confident. It doesn't matter how he's panicking or he's sweating or he's confused, but he appeared and at least he testified before the Senate that indeed I have alleged, now I'm proving because you alleges must prove.
Mm.
Therefore, DP being the witness in his own case, he was the witness. He was supposed to appear before Senate, and given that time, he was allocated 2 hours. He ought to have appeared and defended his case, defended his stand that whatever you are accusing me of are not true. Because if he was the main witness in his case, he's the one who knows better than any other person. So he need to have been allowed the senior counsel like Orengo, Otindamolo to do their job. But it doesn't mean that if Orengo appear against your Otindamolo, you can lose the case, you can win the case. It's normal. You don't need to win any case. So you don't need to panic. You need just to be confident because he's also being backed by very good lawyers, lawyers of good reputation. People, you have even heard the way they were doing their arguments in the Senate. So
Yeah.
those people are also they're also one of the best lawyers. So you can't say that only Orengo or Tina Mola are the best. There are many best people.
Yeah. So, like, as you said earlier, that everybody is entitled to their opinion. And these are some of the comments that I was just looking in the internet and to see what is happening. And those are comments that were coming out. Thank you, Judith, for joining us. And Judith is saying, I think something is cooking. Gachagua is the only witness. Okay. Thank you so much. We have, I'm not, but I can assure you, not stupid DP. So there's something that as really happened. So as we still look at and wait for the Senate to come and do the proceeding, or we wait for uh, the uh, the information or the news from the condition of the deputy president. When you look at the entire process, especially starting from yesterday, and the senior counsel, I mean, the counsel Njiru was so much opposed to the senior counsel James Orengo appearing on on the side of the parliament, owing to the fact that Orengo is a state official, and he pegged his argument on especially the impeachment that was taking place for the Kisii deputy governor, where Osoro wanted to be as their counsel, and he was um, taken out because he's a state officer. Why was this one so? The senior counsel was allowed, yet he's a state officer, and Osoro too was a state officer, or it depends on how the case is being argued, or it depends on who is who.
It doesn't depend on who is who, or it
Yeah.
doesn't depend on how the case is being argued.
Mhm.
The law is the law, and the rules are rules.
Yeah.
So in the case of Osoro,
Yeah.
I think Osoro is a member of parliament, and that is a leader in that parliament, National Assembly.
Yeah.
But let me focus on the issue of James Orengo.
Yeah.
James Orengo, they viewed him as a governor for Siaya, and also they viewed that he's a state officer. He ought not to have engaged into any other legal fees. But where Ndego Njiru get it wrong,
Yeah.
he argued that Orengo is in this service to earn. He was doing it for earning. Then he was like he provoked the speaker in that statement. Then he will say, okay, Orengo is not in this service to earn. Orengo has been hired in his own capacity. There's no one, we have not got into the issue of earning. So I think Ndego Njiru had a very good argument, but the way he prosecuted his argument, it was contrary to he was not having facts and label. Though he was having a law, but there was no fact because he went ahead and said that Orengo want to argue this case for him to earn. So that one is like you want to demean the stature of an advocate
Yeah.
because even him is that one. Who is not that one?
Yeah.
So there's no way you can propose that Orengo is that one and you are that one. So on that way, it has to be ruled by the speaker, and we have to respect what the speaker has ruled.
Oh.
What I wanted to say, I want to shift let me now based on how I'm viewing it at
Yeah.
my personal level.
Mhm.
Yeah, apart from the laws and the facts and the happenings. Me, I can just view that Rigathi Gachagua is fighting back. And these are the ones, the things of fighting back. You fight even to your deathbed. Even at the point they were anticipating that at around 11:45, Rigathi Gachagua could have been roasted. He could cease to become the deputy president. Now people are also in a dilemma. They don't know what people don't know. People never anticipated this. So
Yeah.
Rigathi Gachagua is simply fighting back. These are in a political context. It does not place it into the Senate or into the judiciary. Let's look in a political play or a political context. Rigathi Gachagua is simply fighting back, and that's one of the ways of fighting back. And that's why mostly me, I like him because of how he do his politics. As a politician, you don't need to be someone who's weakling. You need to be a strong politician and a smart one, whereby you fight to the head. Right now, I try to reach some of my friends
Mhm.
who are at parliament, and I have asked them that, actually, they asked me at Imiguda, this the man from Sugoi is very smart. Then I told them, okay, all along, I know he's smart, but me, I do trust Rigiji in terms of being smartness. So if Rigiji can get out of this quagmire, then it will be the way around that Ruto is smart, yeah, but Rigiji might sometimes outshine him. So let us wait. But those people, they told me time that number over the phone call before we came to that, no, Mikuda, Ruto is smarter than Rigathi Gachagua. Wait and see. So I'm also waiting to see.
Yeah, and talking about of when it comes to the smartness of politics, but I think the president has really tried his level best. You know, it is not very easy, especially in a country like Kenya, to kind of like bring like formidable forces, like forces that control the politic on your side. Because even now, when we depart from the legal way or the legal view of especially what is happening, by the presence of the senior counsel James Orengo, that one sends you a very good um, clear picture of what the kind of politics that is being played. Because you know James Orengo is a close ally of the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and take any typical example, like if this was the days when the Right Honorable Prime Minister and the current President, His Excellency William Ruto, were not in agreement or were not their views were not converging. Do you think James Orengo, even if he was being hired for his services as an senior counsel, do you think he could have gone there? In terms of politics, we depart now from the legal way. Do you think it could have done that?
He could have not done that. He could have not gone there because, yeah, I tend to agree with you that William Ruto has tried so much.
Yeah.
He has tried in terms of politics to play the smartest card ever. But also, we have to admit that Rigathi Gachagua
Mhm.
was a one man. So,
Mhm.
a one man fighting against the forces. So,
Mhm.
Rigathi Gachagua also tried his best. What if Rigathi Gachagua could have Raila on his side? Or people like Orega on his side? Could you touch him? You could
No.
have not touched him. So, William Ruto,
Yeah.
his smartness has been boosted by the allies he's currently having. You see, people like Orengo can appear to represent a case, the petition from the parliament.
Yeah.
People like Orengo could have not even do anything for the government because the long history of standing in opposition and the long history of opposing anything in the government. Orengo had that history. And also look at most of the cases he has appeared in before the court.
Mhm.
They are the ones he has appeared to support the government process or agenda are
Yeah.
countable. You can count them. So regarding Gachagua, as much as we are saying that Ruto is smart,
Yeah.
Rigathi Gachagua also tried his best. I can give him credit where he's doing because Rigathi Gachagua, he was a one man fighting against the system,
Yeah.
against all odds. So he has tried his best. Even when he has gotten hit, maybe he's in the process of fighting. That's why you can even get hit. One person fighting against all odds. Look at even the kind of advocates the petitioner has. Very expensive advocates,
Yeah.
well experienced.
And talking about the advocates that the National Assembly has put in place, it is a huge investment. It is telling you the kind of war that they were preparing, in terms of legal war that they were prepared to, because they knew what was coming. Based on, even when you look at on how the petitioner, the member of parliament especially, was um arguing his cases when he was cross-examined yesterday. He was not owning the case. But one thing that he believed in, that behind me there's this strong wall of senior counsels that are going to nail it at the end. And remember, there were the people who were at the tail end to give their view. So which means they had so much energy to even outwit those cross-examination that were already done by the deputy counsels, because like they were the last to do the cross examination, then the senators would go and debate, then vote. You remember? So with that, that one could also point that they were not. It was not like a mere process. It was something that they heavily invested on. So that is something that we
I,
also
I,
should
I,
about
I
them.
got you. I got you. What I want to say is that if you look at the composition of the Senate, look at the way the senators are asking questions. People like Senior Counsel Tom Ojienda, people like Counsel Okongo Mogendi.
Yeah.
These counsels, they're asking questions that they're leading the petitioner to their case,
Yes.
and they are asking questions that are contradicting the presentation of the defense counsel.
Mhm.
Even the composition of the senator alone can tell you how government has invested in this case. Look
Yeah.
at the way those people are asking those questions. They're asking questions that are assisting the petitioner to argue their case, but they're asking questions that are contradicting the submissions of the defense team. That one I've also noticed.
Mhm.
And even look at the bench. Look at the bench of the advocates, because advocates, we have those people who are in the substitute bench. They, they have not put on the kits. They're just on they will not play, but they're just on the bench in case of any injury. But there is no any injury. So look at even petitioner's bench. There's a certain lawyer by the name Paul Nyamodi. Have you
Yeah.
seen him?
Yeah.
He's
I
just
saw him.
behind. He's just behind. He has not even come to the floor, which means look at how they have invested so much in the legal team,
Yeah. So
unlike the defense team.
for the
So remember, if those are the people who are there to petition or to present, what about the people who are in the background doing the research? What about
yeah.
the people who are giving them tips behind the curtains?
Yeah.
So
So
they are really invested in it here.
yeah.
You
Okay.
can find even the likes of, I don't want to quote names, but the likes of some lawyers who assisted Raila,
Hmm.
they are behind the curtains.
Yeah. We've
They don't
seen.
want to appear in person or in camera, but they are somewhere.
And that's what I was telling you. If we depart from the legal part and look at it in politics, because everything is about politics, and we are just trying to depart away from that and look it in another angle, and we look it in the terms of the political and another angle. And thank you everyone who is watching us. We really thank you so much. And we just asking or pleading with you to just to subscribe to our channel. That is the only support we are asking you. So if we have such like conversation, you can join us and also assist us, because this is something that is of great to the nation, and everybody is allowed to converse about it, so we know where we are going, because we know for some good reason in 2 days we might have a new deputy president, and that is what is there. And Esther Kavaya anasema hiyo ni yako, hakuna sickness hapo. Unajua ugonjwa hawezi kuwa tu, labda tukuna ile pia ugonjwa ya kukaa hapo na kuongeleshwa. You see how sometimes the seat get hot. It is hot there, And Peter Esonga Manesta, hiyo ni porojo, hakuna ugonjwa hapo, ni game plan tu. Misiani wewe b. So kila mtu ako na maoni yake, na hiyo ndio tunasema. And now let me bring you back to yesterday when the 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 trial began. Remember when Counsel James Orengo was given the floor to open their remarks, he went to about the deputy president traveling all the way to London, or flying out to London um, to ask his brother to sign the will at when he was still very sick. Was this one necessary? Because I think like this is kind of like family. Was it necessary?
Yeah, Renko, when Renko was given a point for open remarks, at least he got something to say about the defense, because he was appearing for the petitioner and he was going to cross-examine the main witness in the defense, that is DP GACHAGUA. So maybe he was giving his introductory statement, part of it, that he was going to execute today. So that one, there's no problem with him. And I can just say the open remarks, I
Uh-huh.
think Elisha Ongoya had
Uh-huh.
it,
Uh-huh.
but unlike Orengo was not that, the way public has viewed it.
Eh,
But today, these things, I told you the other day that you cannot know the outcome of the case. And
Yeah.
also, you can't listen to one party, then conclude that, oh, Rigathi Gachagua is winning it. So
Yeah.
yesterday, people were saying, oh, Rigathi Gachagua is winning. But today, where's the Rigathi Gachagua? He has disappeared. Because today you could even realize, oh, so it means even Orengo is a good lawyer. That's how cases are there in court. You don't need to rely on one submission.
Mhm.
Wait for full submissions, then you can make your conclusion. But even after the full submissions, still
Yeah.
you cannot know the conclusion until that judge at that time of determination of the cases. So people were like, yesterday, they have roasted Mutise. Of course, they roasted him.
Yeah.
But have you heard him this morning? The way
Yes.
he was responding to the question.
Yeah.
So you see the way he was today he was backed up and he was composed and
Yeah.
it was some logical in terms of law. In fact, he introduced many acts in the in terms of company, even
Mm.
in terms of public procurement and
Mm.
disposal act, and it
Yeah.
was very factual in his citations. So
Yeah.
and I was like, hey, this is it means Mukisa is also serious lawyer like this. So it doesn't mean that once on that one day you fail to submit, maybe you are never prepared. It happens to people. Maybe you was
Yeah.
never prepared. Maybe you never did your work. So, but if you are on your feet,
Yeah.
there's no way you can say that this person is
Yeah.
not a good presenter or maybe not. And also, so today people could have seen the way James could have cross-examined regarding Gachagua, many witness. By
Yeah.
now we could have been making our conclusion, but now it's very unfortunate that many witness is missing in action.
And that poses a very legal question. And with the timelines that the Constitution, the roadmap to the Constitution, especially like when it comes to issues like impeachment. So we will be waiting. We are almost 8 minutes to for the Senate to resume. Just on the comment section, just let us know when the Senate resumes so that we can go back and watch and later come and do our post analysis. So you there's this issue of patriotism to the country. In your own submission or in your own view, when you look at what happened, where where do we draw the line whereby you are patriotic to your country and again you're patriotic to yourself? Did you see that coming out, especially during this trial impeachment in the parliament, whereby there are one person that you can point out or scenarios that you can point out whereby somebody was advocating for the country but not for himself?
Still, I must give two senators.
Yeah.
Number one, I'm giving Edwin Sifuna benefit of doubt
Yeah.
until I will see how he's going to vote.
Mhm.
So I'll make my conclusion after voting. But for now, I can give him a benefit of doubt
Mm.
because today he has not even asked any question. He has been following very keenly. And the question he asked yesterday was related to the love of the country. And also, I'd like to give Senator Cheriot, but I'm doubting him. That's
Yeah.
why I don't give anybody, I can't say that he's patriot. Because Senator Cheriot is asking some genuine questions
Mhm.
that are in defense of the defense team, that is Mr. Gachagua, of the accused. But
Mhm.
remember, he's going to vote against Gachagua. So it looks like it's not genuine.
Yeah.
He's asking questions that are related to that. It's like he's defending Gachagua in the question he's asking, or is against the petitioner. But in the recent, Senator Cheriot is going to vote yes to impeach Gachagua. So you see, there are those who are they are cunning. I can discuss as cunning. People like Sifona and Cheriot. They are trying to portray that patriotism in the house,
Mhm.
but the outcome of the vote. So we will see. Let us wait for the process to be concluded conclusively, so that we
Mhm.
can say, okay,
Mhm.
in this process, we can identify some patriots who love the country, who put the country ahead of themselves, and also we can see those who put themselves ahead of the country.
Mm.
Yeah, so far I've tried to see two centers who try to like they are asking questions related to the country,
Yeah.
but
And
some people are asking questions that they have got instruction directly from their masters.
Gachagua now is drafting a resignation letter. There is no voting. That is one of our viewers is saying. That is Laban. Thank you so much for your.
Yeah, I agree with Laban. Even before we begin the show, that's what we are discussing with you. That
Mhm.
maybe he has rushed out of parliament, but then we never know where he was because he was missing in action. So like maybe he was running to the current resident to call press conference that I've resigned. But now there is sad news from Paul Mutter that he has been admitted to the hospital.
So
So maybe from hospital press conference of resignation.
You know why sometimes I think deputy might not resign, because maybe in terms of law, because if deputy was supposed to resign, deputy was supposed to resign before the process of impeachment start in the Senate, because that is the last mile or the last stretch of the process. Now, because this cross examination has been done, you know, and if you are going to resign now, still it gives the Senate the leeway to vote despite the fact that you've resigned, because the process was still within the Senate, the House in the Senate to do. So I don't think he can resign. That is one. And another thing also, I think the deputy president, this is my own thinking. I'm not saying that they might be right. The deputy president decided to go through all this process with one thing in mind, that in terms of the political career, let it end the way it will end. If I'm impeached, I'm not going to participate in the political of this nation or any leadership in terms of political, but I will fight it. I will be a citizen who will do business, not to hold any office. So he decided to go to kill his political career, not to resign, so that he can contest. But he will be a very influential figure or an influential player, especially when it comes to the political making of the country. So those are some of the things that I might withdraw, but I don't think he can resign right now. Uh, Somebody, Ibrahim Joba, DP GACHAGUA, quick recovery. Thank you so much. Nice
Yeah,
one, Deputy
in
President.
terms of constitutional framework, you ought to have resigned yesterday at noon
Yes.
or in the forenoon.
Yeah.
That one, but now the process is on. There has been cross-examination of the petitioner. He
Yeah.
was supposed to even be cross-examined as the main witness in this case. Then he's now missing action. Then that one is not going to align with the constitution if he resigns. It's not going to align with the laws of the land. So he's going to have committed another crime
Another crime.
of its own kind.
Of
So
its
I
own.
think I can agree with your second point that maybe he has decided that let me kill my political career.
Yeah.
Focus on other things, but I'll fight back.
Yeah.
That one, he has insisted.
Let me tell you something that is going to happen here. And leave about the legal part that is taking place in the Senate. Talking about of the political space in Kenya, DP president will be a very, very influential player in determining the political landscape in Kenya. Immediately after his impeachment, I know he will have to go to his region and have to say some of the things, because politics is about emotion. How can you whip people emotion to bear with you, like to be in your shoes, especially those who are coming from your religion? People have done them so many times. So, and he will be very, very, very much influential in this politics. And I know president also, as somebody who is smart in his political schemes, he has calculated all those. And you could see how this thing was put in place. Remember, the Kalonzo, His Excellency Kalonzo was in one of the media station, and he said, "This is a predetermined." You know, he knew. To mean, I might quote him from him saying it is a predetermined. He knew very well that the deputy is going to be impeached, because he said this is a predetermined. So that is something that also is there. But I bear and I bet he will be very influential in politics for 2027. So that is something that is there. So
the two distinct between Ruto and the other Gachagua, I can say that all of them are good, are smart politicians, but they have two different things. William Ruto is a forward executor. He executes his cases ahead of you, even 3 years ahead of you. But Rigathi Gachagua is an instant executor. Given opportunity, he can become president anytime. But Ruto can plan even three years ahead of you. So all these processes, we have to add them in mind.
Yeah.
But Rigathi Gachagua, you see the way. This is why I'm telling that Rigathi Gachagua is an instant executor. Today, nobody expected that he was going to get hit, but look at what he has done. Immediately, he has just made up his mind. Okay, for me to miss in action, let me mix within these 2 hours I've been given. I'm here. So he's an instant executor. He executes his political journey instantly on the very time. But William Ruto is a future planner.
Okay, thank
so
you so much.
that's the distinct between these two politicians. That's why sometimes you can say, okay, he is a smart politician, but William Ruto is smarter than him.
Okay, we have Dan Mwangi. Dan Mwangi is saying this case of Mr. Mutuse is, I think, is someone used it wrongly. Maybe because in politics, anything is possible, you know, especially if you realize that in your political career, there's this person who might make you not to achieve what you want. You know, there's a way in which you can decide to do away with those barriers, and you have to think ahead. um yeah, and how can you think ahead? You have to use means possible for you to execute your plans. And if that could have been the case, that Mutise is being used for execution of a political plan, a futuristic political plan, then so be it. You know, provided that your political career and achievement is achieved. You know, in politics, especially like politics that we have in our country, you know, I don't think how I don't know whether we can call it politics or I can call it what, because is one of the politics that ideology is not there. There's nothing that people stand for. Just confirm to me whether the Senate is back, and if you're here for the very first time, please kindly we are requesting you to support our channel by subscribing, so that when we have such like conversation, you can join us and share your view with us, and we will really appreciate so much.
The reason why I say that, even I was listening to the submissions even of the petitioner, the witness from petitioner.
Mhm.
In a competent court of law, I don't think he could have won that case.
Who?
Mutise.
Yeah.
In a competent court of law, he could
Mhm.
have not won that case. But now we have also distinguished that this is a political process.
Yeah.
That way it was taken to parliamentary process. So political process, anything can happen. But even if you wanted to look at the way it was being cross-examined, things like Triptop Hotels, Abade Hotel, where the hotel was owned by a KWS, but it was leased to a third party.
Yes.
Then this party failed to maintain it, and now it leases it to the DP GACHAGUA's son.
Yeah.
So it means it was not a property of the KWS by the time it was being taken away by the Kate and the Kevin. It means that it was having a third party as the person who they leased to him. So such things are like, and also even if you look at the Bingo Beach and
Yeah.
also Olive Gardens,
Yeah.
and even the 20 companies which were mentioned, the Mutuse said that those companies were used by the Gachagua to do business in the county of Nyeri when his brother was a governor by then. So
Yeah.
why could they prosecute him by then? So they was it was like those are just circumstantial evidences. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see, so you get it, my friend. There were not direct evidence to prove that Rigathi Gachagua should be beat. There was some circumstantial evidence that if you look at if it happened during his brother time, it can happen this time. Yeah, I think if you
Okay.
could have listened very keenly, you could have said that if you could have gone through the judicial process,
Yeah.
the case could have been quashed away.
And thank you to mention that, because I think the Senate might have resumed. And
Okay.
another thing also, like the idea of bringing all these companies and making them as part of the evidence. And when he was asked, he was saying that this is like he was talking about future can be used. You know,
We talk
future.
about circumstantial evidence.
Yeah, so how do you are you in this person's mind and say that, okay, then in our country, like law, does law prohibit you to have a number of companies, or you can have as many as you can?
Can have even all companies if you can manage.
So why was that one so much of necessity to him, and you had to bring it to the in the motion? So as Duncan Mwangi was saying, this was a political process, and it has to be completed, or it has to go the political way, however how you look at it. And let me take this opportunity to thank everyone who has been with us for this short period of time. We really appreciate you so much for joining us and to listen to us. We don't take it for granted. And let me take this opportunity to give my brother to say his last remarks before we wind up and proceed to the Senate.
Okay, before we proceed, Senator, just tell my viewers that it's a very interesting case. It's the first time it's happening in the country. We have not got no any precedent so that we can say that's why we are we are trying to weigh ways. We have like binary options. Which one, which one? So let us wait for the ruling from the speaker right away. I think it can guide us further. Let's meet after
Uh,
this session. Bye
uh,
bye.
let me wait. Let me wait. Is somebody in the comment section can tell us whether the Senate is in session?
Ask Judith. Judith is a bit alert.
Judith, hebu tuambie tusaidie hapa kama Senate is in session so we can end our conversation, and if not we can still continue and maybe highlight some um some some areas. Or let me see if let me
You can check from your end.
yeah, let me check from my end. I think I can access one of the device here. No, the because I'm looking at National Assembly website.
Yeah,
The,
look at Parliament website.
yeah, that's the one I'm looking at, but like there's nothing so much taking place. So let us just do comparison. When you look at what happened in the Parliament and what is now happening in the Senate, especially when you look at the honorable members, we see that the Senate is more calm and quite much collected than National Assembly. Or what can you say about that?
I believe that they say that wines get better with age. As you grow, as you grow up, wine gets better with you. So I think wisdom also comes with age. Most
Uh,
of the centers most of the centers are a bit age than young centers are countable, and
yeah.
also they are few in number. Like
Hmm.
National Assembly, where we have many people. National Assembly, we have many people, so it's a mix up of young
Yeah.
people, middle, old people,
Mhm.
women, men, people of different characters, people like Osoro, Babu Oweno, Sani Jalas, Salasia. But in the Senate, at least there are few, and
Uh-huh.
most of them are a little bit aged in terms of age, also
So
in terms of profession.
and
So you
profession.
find that when it comes to, for example, when it comes to reasoning, people like
Yeah.
Arun Cheriot,
Yeah.
they are aware that they are going to vote no, they are going
No.
to vote to remove Rigathi Gachagua. But in terms of their submission, asking question, they
Yeah.
are reasonable. They don't show
Yeah.
the chair
Yeah.
or the defense and the petitioner council that we are taking sides.
Yeah.
Unlike National Assembly, whereby people do literally take sides. So
Mhm.
even people like Ogienda, that we know where they're going to vote, but now
No.
so
Yeah.
it's coming mature. You can say the debate at Senate was a bit mature.
A bit mature, and it carried with it a lot of integrity and a lot of sense, and also
And
when
there was that room for hearing without any
yeah.
they were hardly silence.
Yeah, and the comparison between the speaker of the Senate and the speaker of National Assembly, also these are very very big difference, despite the fact that
There is a very big difference because Kingi never make any public utterance that he has taken side,
yeah, that's one.
unlike Wetangula.
Mhm.
And Kingi in his conduct in the house as a chair, he tried to balance the house. He tried to balance even the petitioner and the defense counsel. Unlike Wetangula, is a one man show.
Yeah,
He's taking everything. He knows everything. In fact, he's even telling you what to say. And you ought to have said this one. No, you ought to have said this one. So there's much difference between Wetangula and Kingi. You can say Kingi look like someone who is experienced and someone who is composed, someone
mhm.
who has been in that seat for like maybe 20 years. But he came the other day. But Wetangula looked like someone who is not. I don't want to mention my other things, but anyway, there's a big difference.
And the demeanor of Kingi, not that I'm praising him, at least bring that calmness on normalcy in the country and gives an opportunity to Kenyan citizens to say, okay, I think we are headed in the right direction, as compared to what even we saw with the speaker at the National Assembly, whereby everybody like was was off and say that if this is what it takes, then we don't even need to have this leader. So, and there was so much like so much extensive discussion, especially when it comes to shares, based on um, the fact that the coalition partners signed into agreement, and this was given in terms of shares, whereby a particular area given 30%, and that one also, as a country now, we need to start questioning ourselves. How can we as a country, or how can our politicians or our leaders, when in the process of signing this coalition, they have to give a pact in terms of what should be done, yet everybody is a Kenyan, despite the fact that we might disagree on the policies and the visions of your party, or the visions of you as a candidate. You know, how that was one sits well with the country, and what does it tell the country?
Before I go to the question, first, I also notice that in the Senate,
Yeah,
you find that members of the Senate they are ready to admit that they are wrong.
yeah,
People like Twangwa made some utterances that is unparliamentary.
yes.
He apologized and withdrew.
Mhm.
Even Senator from Kajiado, Zeki
Yes.
also withdrew and apologized instantly. So they were acting. Even you can see some of the members who are from opposite side, they're going to plead with Zeki. Kindly
Yes.
withdraw and apologize because this is an important process. You don't need to miss it as a representative of Kajiado. So you see,
Yeah.
there's that unity in the Senate, despite that they're coming from different political parties, but there's that unity that and they're ready to admit that they're wrong.
Mhm.
Unlike members of parliament, whereby Wetangula has to kick some of them out of the house, so they will be contented.
And you talked about the senator. I saw she was seated to next to a lady. I don't know which county she's coming from. Immediately, the senator apologized. She took out the mic really quick. Maybe she thought
Yeah,
the guy would make another comment that will make him being sent out, and that that was very good of her. No, sometimes it's we might we have different in our views or in our thoughts, but that one does not create enmity. So sometimes you put the country first, and because this is a very sensitive, as much as we might say the political process, it touches on the people's nerves. There are people that this one touches on them so directly into their heart. So that is also, we thank the lady for the senator, a lady, for doing that. So that is a good of, very kind of her. So anyway, let's now wait for what is going to take place as we wait the speech from the deputy president, or the communication from deputy president team on the status of his health. That is one, or the status of his case, and that one also will come here and communicate. Now let's go to the internet. Bwana, mi nakuambia, Kenya, ukisikia watu wanasema Kenya watu wahami, Kenya watu wahami, the comic on the internet, since the internet, go to the TikTok, go to Facebook, everywhere. What do you say about all that the Kenyans are doing in some of comics and making all these jokes?
yeah. So we say that in Kenya,
Yeah.
syllabus inakimbia sana. So if you don't be online today, tomorrow when you be online, you find that people have moved on from where we were.
Uh-huh.
The other day was Kasmuel, the other day was Morara, the other time was. There are many things that are happening, and people are very creative, and
Uh-huh.
people have invested much in terms of internet in Kenya.
Mhm.
To be the leading, I think TikTok. TikTok has captured very many people.
Yeah.
And X Space, in Kenya, those who are on X Space, they are the so-called the elites. They
Elite,
have their class.
they have the class. Yeah.
They have their class, and they have the first-hand information. That's why even me, I like X. X got the primary information you can get from any information. The primary news is from X, not from the mainstream media, because you get it raw as it is, as it's happening, and who is doing it. So
Yeah.
mainstream media will not give you into details. And
And
so many things are happening, and even in terms of this impeachment, people have praised Ongoya.
Mhm.
Ongoya was a darling of yesterday, but you'll be surprised that even suddenly Ongoya will nowhere to be seen.
so you become a darling of the moment immediately, like
Yeah, so you must adjust. And also, let me add one thing, Brother Benson. Maybe
yeah,
you haven't get it.
yeah,
On Sunday, we have Mashujaa Day in this country,
yeah,
National Holiday,
yeah,
and the government is going to the coast province. That is the entire government.
yeah.
They're going to celebrate it in, I think, Kilifi County somewhere. And
Is it one or Kilifi?
our national holidays were devolved. Nowadays,
Yeah.
they are not in Nairobi.
They're
So you
not
can
in.
celebrate anywhere. But I think also because of the political temperature, they sit that they should go outside Nairobi. So I told William Ruto is a future planner. These things were planned before. Things like Mashua Day, they didn't plan even way back. So he knew by this time we'll have some political
So,
dynamics in the city of Nairobi.
uh,
Let us go to Mombasa. And so there is also there is one problem with the current I think the remnant of Gen Z's.
mhm,
People have
yeah.
said that they're going at Uhuru Park
Mhm,
because we have a parallel holiday at Uhuru Park.
mhm.
And Morara has said that is going to Narok.
Narok,
So
yes.
people are like, why Narok, and we have agreed that we are going to occupy Uhuru Park. So there's a lot of controversies over
You know,
the
uh,
pressing of the Gen Z.
this is something that at least now it I, I tend to look at our political landscape will not change because the other day I was here with you and we talked about how, especially when we come to these platforms or media platform, we, as much as we might say that we are very, very much knowledgeable on how to use the media space and all that platform, but I tend to see the similarity of the young people, the kind of politics they do with and the kind of politics that the older generation are doing, because it's politics of attack, and insult, but and not coming together, and the politics of betrayal, So that is something that also that I'm seeing it is happening, and make me question myself. Like, at what point will we um, create a new path of politics that does not uh, have those features of the ones that are being played? Like right now we are talking of going to Huru Park. Morera is going to um, Narok. And the other day, I saw one of the photos of Casmuel castigating Morera on how taking, all those like, and it's the same politics that is being played every day. So where will that new path of politics come with the new generation, if you want to say that we want to liberate the country because maybe the leadership that we have or the kind of leaders that we have does not share our aspiration?
I'll still believe that if at all there was Gen Z protest, if at
Mhm,
all it was organic,
mhm,
then it was hijacked.
mhm.
And it was hijacked by the people who have been following leaders, our old leaders. And so if it was hijacked,
Yes.
so the Gen Z were misrepresented.
Yeah.
They were not presented by the true and genuine leaders. The
Mhm.
people who are trying to emerge as their leaders
Yeah.
were not their leaders. Those were people who have been following these politicians.
Mhm.
People like Morara have been seen with William Ruto in KC during some times back with the rally. So it means already he was incorporated into the idea of the old politician.
Mhm.
People like Mwangi, people like Nipa, those people who purport to be the Gen Z leaders, all those people purport to be appearing on the mainstream media to articulate the issues and policies of the Gen Z.
Yeah.
These people have been behind this old generation politician for a long period of time.
Like their
So by the
mentor.
time those are the mentors, so they were following their path. So when the
Mhm.
Gen Z wave came, they
Mhm.
hijacked it and they were trying to emerge as the leaders of the Gen Zs with the old thinking political ways, that old medal. So the new medal is with us, and also the new thinking is there. But the problem is, the new people with the new thinking are being misrepresented. That's where the problem is. So
Uh,
they
how
have
how
so
how how are they being mis uh,
that's why I said I've been saying this, that a leader emerge, and
mhm,
once a genuine leader could have emerged
mhm.
among the Gen Zs,
Yeah.
he could have been there to articulate policies and issues that do not divide us,
Mhm.
that do not depend on the conmanship of the politics of this country. Because we have had people like us that are saying that with them, they were very genuine, articulating issues on the mainstream. But behind him, people were receiving dollars. So who are these people who are receiving dollars? So it
Yes.
means even people took advantage of the demonstration
Yeah.
and played their the old way politics of the country. So if we insist that these are our leaders in the future, we will not change this narrative. So we must give space for the fresh leaders, must give space for those who are emerging. Let us not demean the young leaders who are uprising. Let us not go with the wave of all politicians. That's how we can achieve this. But if you continue the way we are continuing,
Hmm.
we are going to play our politics for the next 100 years.
So and you know you've talked of giving space for new leaders. Who is going to give that space? Um because no any other politicians will just give it for free for you. You know, you have to fight for that space, and in the process of fighting for that space, there's so many challenges that comes with it. Because if you look at even the political landscape of Kenya in terms of commercialization, like there's that transaction of cash that usually takes place, that if you do not have enough cash, sometimes you might not even feature anywhere. And the majority of young leaders who tend to have different view or tend to want to offer alternative leadership, you find that they have that they they are one of their limitations is accessibility to these resources, whereby even the public will judge them not on their policies, but judge them on the resources that they have. What resource do you have, or what are you going to give us? We are electing you to be a president, a senator, a member of parliament, a MCA. What do you want to give me in return? If you don't have something that you give in return, then you're not going to get it.
I don't think it's all about money, though money play a major role in
Mhm.
politics. But in leadership, maybe, so I say, if you're a leader, if you know that you're a God chosen leader, nothing can stop you. Even if your opponent have money, look at the gubernatorial race in Mobile County.
Yes.
He didn't got money,
Mhm.
but he was beaten. People
Oh,
have been beaten with their billions. So,
yes.
if you know you are a leader, just be tactical and strategically correct, and also gather your intelligence and consultation.
Mhm.
So, even if you are in the mix of
Mhm.
these politicians,
Mhm.
you don't betray your conscience. You can just be in the mix, but once you get your position,
Yeah.
you maintain your conscience. You don't betray your conscience. So it's among the youthful people that the problem with us, once we get opportunity to interact with these politicians, we immediately lose our conscience and we start practicing their way of politics. That's where the problem is. But I believe that young people, not only the young people, even
Yes.
there are old people who
Mhm.
are having good idea and good plans and they're having new thoughts. You can be young but you don't have new ideas. You can be young but you don't have any new thought. So even it doesn't matter whether you are young or old. It matters what do you have. Do you have any ideology? Do you have anything that you can an alternative that you
Yeah.
can offer to your country? If you
Mhm.
have such things, just try to be strategically correct and tactical. Then you can find your way. Then once you find your way, try to transform society. Try to transform
And
society. That's what I can say. But we cannot come and identify you, then we pull you out of where you are until we make you a leader. Even you have to fight for yourself.
that's brings me to a question that I asked you earlier. At what point do you put the love for your country and the love for yourself? Because remember, like this the scenario that we have today. I can take a typical example. Um, we know for a fact that the government in place, not 100% of Kenya population love the government. There are those who tend not to love this government. Yeah, but that one can that one put you in isolation not to love your country? You cannot love the government in place, or you cannot love a particular leader. But what about the love for your country? Do you have an option, especially when it comes to love for the country?
I think there's no option, but even if there was option, but you should just love your country.
Yeah.
There's only of you not loving your country because that country has offered you uh, a free residency because by birth you are a citizen,
Hmm.
and there's nothing no one can do. You have to hit. If you can only change your citizen through naturalization or registration, but by virtue of being born a Kenyan, you
Mhm.
have that right. No one can take it away from you. So
That's
your
right.
country has offered you a legal right to live. So you must love your country. I don't have a problem with my country. Even if you are coming from the worst country, You must be, but you must love that country. Loving your country doesn't mean that you must love your government,
Yes,
because
that's
that government is formed in that country. You can
yes,
be a critic of that government
yes.
because you don't like it, because you don't need to like something which does not go well with you as a citizen of the country. So I think we should love our country, even whether we are in government. We should love our country, because
And
if this country is, we are going to leave it for to our children,
yes,
because the way our grandparents left it for us.
and that's why so many people have this idea that kama watu wa Kenya kwanza wanalumbana, sisi hatuna shida, si provided ni kwamba kuna vitu ambazo nchi inataka ambapo sisi ndo tuna shida nayo. Wacha wao walumbane, si kitu ambayo tunataka. Tunataka nchi ambayo iko na amani, tunataka nchi ambayo itatupatia uh, msa nchi ambayo tuseme huduma inapatikana, lakini hizo majibizano katika siasa na nini na nini katika chama ya si kitu ambacho labda wanaweza sema kwamba wana nini wana wanasherekea sana of great importance. So Miguda, thank you so much for coming in, and I think it is that time that we need to end the show and focus on the Senate. I know they've not resumed, and if they don't resume, I hope we will come back with another show at around 10 or 11, so that we also, right now, what is going to happen, like you are going to every space, and look at what every Kenya is saying. Any comment that somebody makes right now is true. Any comment, because that is what we call political analysis. Analysis is you making points on the occurrence, on what is happening, and it will it to you it is true. So us also, we are, as we wait for the proceedings, we will go on this social media and see the people who or Kenyans who are still having conversation on the same thing that we are conversing. We see where did we not what did we not say and what did they say. Then we can come and combine them together and have a very nice show. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Miguda, for coming in, and I appreciate you so much. May God bless you, and may God bless the beautiful country of Kenya. Thank you.